Hola. Qué logro tener internet. Em, a decir verdad, estoy un poquito agotada. La semana ha sido larga, exhausta. Me esperan varias semanas así, así que tengo que acostumbrarme a, a muchos cambios de horario, cambios de gente, así que bueno, adaptándome a lo que hay. Hola, hola Itzayena, saludos. Oh, es que creo que es el cambio de... Oh, jumping cards again. Es el cambio de rutina, el cambio de trabajar en remoto a trabajar presencial. Es bastante abrupto. Espérenme un momento. Sorry, guys. Jumping cards again. I had to pick them up. Mm. Hello, May. Hi, Joy Priestess. Yeah. Being with people, like working, like I have always worked with people, like always. Like if I have to do it, I do it. It's just that because of the pandemic and everything, I think that I had the chance to actually being able to work from home or work remote. So somehow, like I got used to being by myself, like protecting myself, like like being able to, yes, like to interact, and but just like knowing that there's no one like coming to my personal space. Of course that you're always connected because you always get emails, you always have messages, a lot of things to do, but somehow there's not that. I usually am very sensitive to crowds, and actually I think that um, I've always worked with a large amount of people. Actually, that's why I'm not. There are people that they say that they are like they don't like to be in a large crowded room. But for me, when it comes to work, I did it for a lot of years. But it seems like ever since the pandemic and everything that we went through, somehow we are not the same when it comes to sharing personal space with a lot of people in a room. Uh, actually, when last year I was watching a concert online, and that it was in the US. And I was like pretty shocked myself because I was like, why are those people like in that concert? Like, like I still, for me, it wasn't like, because in my country there still was a lot of restrictions. So I was like, why is these people all gathered? Like what's going on? But I guess that yes, you just have to go and and experiencing it, and probably you're going to be fine. But I think that when you are an introvert at heart, somehow the pandemic was like a good excuse to stop seeing people that you don't care about, or that you, if you had the chance, you wouldn't choose to see them again. So now we are back to responsibilities. So we have to adapt. We have to adapt. Hola, Miss Lluvia. We have to adapt. That's all I think, guys, because we need to keep being productive. Like, we need to fulfill our purpose somehow. It's not all about like, oh, I'm taking a break. Somehow life still goes on, so you cannot stop to have a break. So, yes. How are you guys? Like, I don't want to talk only about me. You tell me about you. It's not about me. This live is going to be a bit brief. Like, it's going to be shorter than the usual one. So, you know, if you have a subject that you would want to discuss, we would discuss this. Pretty fine. Finishing dinner. Great. Yes, I finished dinner as well. That's why I'm having an herbal tea. I need my herbal tea after having dinner. Have you read the title of my live? Anything that surprised you about I- idol or K-pop world when you started doing K-pop tarot? Um, Anything that surprised me? Um, yes, yes, it's about, the, I would say, the art of shipping, because somehow these people that create these edits or these videos or this content, they do have some creative resources. That's why they do have creativity and a lot of imagination and a lot of things. But I wanted to take that subject actually to go deeper into why do we feel like, to reflect, why do people ship? What do you think that is the reason behind the the need to see a connection somewhere, to see two people interact and being like so so immersed in those two or three. I don't know, maybe there are ships that are about three members, four members. But where do you think that it comes, like the need to ship idols with each other, of the same group, or with different idols, different yes, different artists? And about the question that someone asked me, what was like the strangest thing? Um, I think that is not. I'm going to read again the question. That is not surprised. Um, Actually, it's not something that I would consider a surprise. But I think that it's interesting how reading for idols actually is very normal. Like sometimes, like uh, I don't like to decorate my interpretations. I see what I see, and I express what I see. And some of them actually are very normal. Like there's nothing like complex in their energy. Actually, they are much simpler than what people, or maybe also about subjects. Maybe sometimes people want to know about, oh, this member with this member, or this group with this group, or what about this and this. And somehow, like when I read for some, it's not that complex. Like there's no, like, of course, that I never thought that I would find something like extraordinary, actually, like, because I read for people, and I know that we human, we are complex, and it doesn't matter if you work as an idol or if you work as a waitress. It's the same. Like there's something about their energy that actually is quite simple, and probably that they ambition, or they long for the same things that we long for. Acceptance, love, recognition, to be remembered by someone, to be taken into consideration, to be understood, to be seen, um, to be respected. It's not that complex actually to read for them. It's not like, oh, like it's as if I'm reading for some kind of entity, that is like, oh, like some kind of magic. Actually, at least that's what I sense when I pull the cards, that sometimes there's no magic at all, just a person in progress, just a personality, a person, an image, a boy, a girl, with the same insecurities, just like the rest of us. That's why I actually don't follow much other people's reading, because like I don't, except that probably if I like the tarot reader, I would follow them, but not. Um, the ones that actually came into my recommendation were very dramatic, very, very based on a clickbait, like, oh, like, what's going on with this? Like, very like dramatic. And I guess that dramatic sells, actually, that dramatism, and somehow um, like, like, oh, the dark side of, the unseen of something. And that's not, at least that's not how I see them. But I don't know, maybe like I always tell you, somehow there's a reason why you connect with certain readers and you don't connect with others. There's a reason. It's not just about, the the message. It's not about the tea. It's not about the tea. It's more about like like the energy that that person exude. For me, when I look for a tarot reader or when I follow a fellow tarot reader, I want that person to help me expand my perception, like, oh, to be like, oh, that's so cool that she or he saw it this way, about a certain cards, a certain meanings. Like, I learn a lot. But I usually follow people that aren't just like tarot readers. Are these Some people are therapists, some people are astrologers, some people are they have other resources, where they and they study the tarot for quite a while. Like I always say, I see a lot of, like, especially on TikTok, a lot of people like that. They just got their tarot deck yesterday and started pulling cards and just like talk about them just because they find that the cards are pretty, but nothing of substance. That's something that for me is important. When I'm like, oh, I watched this tarot reading and somehow it changed my perception. Like, I'm able to see things differently now. Actually, my favorite astrologer is the writer of the first book of astrology that I ever bought. I actually bought my first astrology book when I was 13 or 14, and she's no longer with us. She passed away. I think she passed away a long time ago. Her name was Linda Goodman, and she was the first the first uh, astrologer, actually, like astrology. I would say, I don't know about astrology, maybe like author of astrology, because I don't know much about her history, because in her books she used to talk or describe actually each zodiac sign, and maybe sometimes she used to, at least the books that I got when I was young, were about sun signs. About sun signs, about, you had a book that it was Capricorn, a book that it was Pisces. You had, like, she would always talk about sun sign characteristics. But I also, like, I bought a book of hers without even knowing, it was about doing your own birth chart. And I remember until this day I have it, and I think that I wanted to draw my own birth chart, and somehow I was so naive, like I didn't know what I was doing, so I would place them in the wrong order. But somehow I think that I self-taught myself in that way. Like, I read and I tried for it to make sense to me. Like, about, she used to talk about, cardinal signs, about fixed signs, about the mutable signs, about the different elements, earth, water, air, and fire, and also about, the opposites, the opposite signs. So She was my teacher. I believe she was my astrology teacher because I would laugh so much at her descriptions. I think I have also one book of Capricorn that is called I think that it's so the zodiac signs and the and romantic relationships or relationships, and in that book specifically I had the one that was of Capricorn. So you will have woman Capricorn with male Leo, or you had, I don't know, Leo female with male Capricorn, like, and with all the entire zodiac. And she would describe each couple's dynamic, especially the first encounter or the first the first impressions, and she was hilarious. Yes, she is. I totally recommend that book because she was, and that's when I actually I read I remember I read the bio of hers, and she actually was an Aries. She was an Aries sun, so it made a lot of sense because I actually never came across to another writer of astrology that can be so real about describing something, about describing an astrological trait. She was so like, I read that as a 15 or 14-year-old, and I would understand, I would picture that scene in my mind because she went straight to the point. That's something that um, I remember there was oh hmm I remember there was this anecdote that she had about Capricorn, and I think that she mentioned that one of her children was a Capricorn, that she had a daughter and that her daughter was a Capricorn. And she was like, if you're an Aries like me, you have you have to be you have to have a Capricorn daughter, because the Capricorn daughter will always check when you are at the grocery store. They would always let you know if you had everything checked on the list of groceries, because they would always like, she was like describing how she was so forgetful sometimes, or she would get distracted because she would be in a hurry, of course, like an Aries person. And she was like, the best thing for me as an Aries mom was to have a Capricorn daughter, because my daughter would help me remember if I'm forgetting something. So I swear that I was like, me as a Capricorn female daughter, I was like, yeah, that's actually true, because I remember when we used to go to the mall with my mom and my dad, they never they sometimes didn't know where things were, especially in the hallways. And my job was to find those things, or to be like, oh, here it is, this that you're looking for in the list, here it is, and they would congratulate me for that. And I was really happy, actually. Like, I felt useful, to be like, and they would always like mention like, oh, she's so good at finding things, and I was like, oh yes, I am so good at that, yes, and that's I think that the way she described it, it was really cute. It is really cute, yes. And his son was a Scorpio, Michael. Oh, I didn't know. Very know. Yes, very efficient, very well behaved, like always in the details. Like always like paying attention. Like, yes, and I think that Moon in Capricorn, actually, people are even uh, more talented in that sense than Capricorn Sun. I think that Capricorn Moon children are very self-efficient, are very self-efficient. Like that, I cannot, like, me as a double Capricorn, I think that um, whenever I meet a Capricorn Moon person, I, I gave them all, I gave them the, yes, the whole like recognition to them. Mm-hmm. Yes, because me as a double Capricorn, especially having the moon, the sun in the first house, like I've always been like, yes, I've been serious when I was a child, but like, like I just had fun. Hi Samara. I just had fun. I didn't feel the weight of Saturn on my shoulders, like of being like, oh, you have to be like this. No. And I think that probably I was very privileged in that sense, because I was an only child. Of course, that what I can say maybe that it has to do with Capricorn is having parents that are, I don't want to say my parents were old, but they were, when they had me, they were in their 40s. So they were really matured. And when I was younger, I would always notice that I was like, oh, but my friends' moms are really young, and my mom is like, I always felt like my parents were like my grandparents actually, but and that's Saturn energy as well. So yes, to be always connected, hi Rim, to be always connected with the wise people, with the older people, actually not like being used to being around older people. Hey guys. Yeah, I was just telling Mariana and Joy Priestess that this live is going to be very short because I'm actually very tired. I'm trying not to fall asleep while I'm talking to you guys. But yes, these weeks have been really busy. But I wanted to see you all. But no one answered me actually. Not me and my birth chart twin showing up at the same time. Yes, I think so. I think that you are in contact. Yes, that's actually that happens. Actually, that happens. It has happened to me with people that had like this very similar placements to mine. That we tend to share even like very crucial events in our lives, like very different, but we tend to have them like around the same time. So you know, it's weird, but it's a coincidence, and it does happen. Yes, it's as if we were like sharing this sort of life path of guidance, and somehow it seems like we are in the same process. So you didn't answer my question that I asked. I called my life shipping. So, actually, I call it shipping because I want us to get in touch with why shipping. Like what do you think that it's the meaning and the purpose behind the art of shipping, especially while we're talking about K-pop, so we need to focus on idols. But why, in your own perception, do you think that people have the urge, the need to ship? Any kind of shipping. Like, what do you think people ship? And actually, why do you think that actually, like, for example, in my case, I didn't heard the word shipping as often as in K-pop. So, like, also we also have to evaluate that. Why is it so installed in K-pop culture? Sat- I satisfy their fantasy. People like live seeing relationships, projection, love. I have the same question. Projection, love. So yes, a way of shipping would be a way of, like, in my fantasy, somehow I also companies push it, yes. But they do it because they actually like were very smart in that sense, and they were like, oh, so this is project a romantic relationship through the K-pop. Maybe people feel more comfortable seeing their idol date someone in the group instead of dating someone outside the group. Yes. I agree with my melody, especially when we think about, this need to create shippings like within members. It's like, oh no, because this member is this member's boyfriend or girlfriend. So they are like somehow taken because your shipping supports it. It's like, and you are not the only one, because there's a lot of people that see it as well. Some people take it in a good way and some not. Readers, watchers. Yes, I think that it has a lot of things that you mentioned in the beginning. For example, fantasy, projection, um, marketing to attract more fans and money. Yes. Um, that's why sometimes, when two idols are not seen being like affectionate towards each other or very touchy with each other, somehow the fans, it it brings a sort of like insecurity in them, like, oh, what's going on between these two? Because this one wanted to hug this one, and this one rejected this, or this, like, it's as if this is personal. Oh, you're not receiving this person's hug, so you probably are enemies or something like that. Projection, yes, projection. I like friendship, like really solid friendships. I think that, like people mentioned, there's a mix also of projection and fantasy. There's this sense of like, and sometimes, they do say it in the comments, especially when they like congratulate or they are happy because they have shipping moments or moments to ship. They have content, so somehow they are like, oh, they are, their love life is more active than mine, or they are the kind of friend that I would want to have, or they are relationship goals. So definitely there's projection in there. There's this sense of like, okay, like I am not getting that kind of interaction in my real life, so somehow when I see these two being close and being cute, somehow I feel they make me feel something. So I have to find out more. I have to look closely. Maybe because they feel lonely and sometimes they think it would be cute. Yes. There's a loneliness also. The way idols interact with each other seems very unauthentic. Um, Shipping going overboard, yes, it's weird. It gets weird, and I think that probably for them, it must get a bit weirder, because some people say that there are a lot of content actually out there, being like a lot of edits, a lot of photographs being edited, a lot of, just that's why I call it the art of shipping because there's a lot of creativity involved. There's a lot of, like, okay, like there's a lot of willpower to make something, romantic. Shipping between members is very strange to me. These idols generally see each other as family. And people are over here making it weird. Talking about it in, oh, these two are cute friends, is, but in romantic sense, it's creepy and even affects the idols. It affects them. You see, there's like, oh, Taiko Chippers, yes. Did you notice how they actually like became a bit distant. I had actually followed BTS for, I'm not going to say from the beginning because I actually started like following them ever since like 2018. But it seemed for me that as time passed by, there were less and less interactions between them. Like, for example, one would be sitting in a place, and the other one would be in the other place. Yes, like there's something happened in there that I don't think that it has to do with how much they appreciate each other, but there's a sense of like, okay, like you sit over there and I will sit here. And they had great chemistry, actually, like great like body language, so definitely they were close. I think that in this sense, I think that they were very close to each other. They were really close to each other. It's just that, they had those moments where people like would edit those moments. So, you know. Also, who talk about things they do behind camera, but they don't even talk to each other in camera, which makes other shippers attack each other. Oh, exactly. The shippers attacking each other. Like, oh no, you are my ship is better than your ship. Like, like why? Like, shipping war has become so much. Aren't even real this purely not surprised there are idols who express shipping affected. Yes, they're in real life relationships. Yes, probably made things. Yes, it probably made things weird for them. Exactly, exactly. Um, yeah, there's this sense of like, yes, that like they should belong, just like I'm saying, like the people that create this possible relationship between idols, it's always like the visuals of who they want, for example, the visual of this group with the visual of that group, and when they meet or they somehow come across information about idols actually like spending time or having friends of the opposite sex that they consider that are not attractive, they they go wild, like, oh, like, why do you like that person? That person is not his type, it's not her type, like I know what's her type or his type, like somehow it has to be approved by them. mm. Some of the ships have more views. Oh, yes. Yes, Leona. That's that's why I'm always amazed by that because probably we are here like talking about this, but like no one cares, to see beyond why, and And actually, I think that people just want to consume what they want to consume, and they are popular. They are popular. So, when it comes to popularity, you cannot beat them. You cannot beat them. It's their own world, their fantasies. And, for me, it's a sort of lifestyle. Maybe it's not something that you are like, okay, maybe if I talk to this person, maybe they will see it differently, or they will somehow like, like start like, oh, like thinking like seeing things from other perspective. The shippers, or especially when they fight each other, it's so like it's so unhealthy, because it seems like they are wearing like a blind in front of their eyes, like there's no like understanding. They don't want to understand, they don't want to be disturbed, they just want to live their fantasy. They just want to live their fantasy. Also, let's talk about something shippers, no shippers don't accept them idols. Could hate, oh, can hate one another. Yes. BTS female friends got a spit. I'm so sorry. Hmm. Yes, I also am concerned about BTS female friends. Like I think that I pray for them every day, because I want them to keep up being anonymous, because and it doesn't matter who they say, oh no, this is a sesang, this is like a toxic fan. I don't know. I just know that there's this like you know this very aggressive energy towards BTS being related to female energy. So please, let's pray. Let's let's do like a circle of praying for BTS female friends, because I don't think it's going to end up pretty if they are known. I remember when BTS performed with Meg, they were constantly telling black K-pop fans BTS would never get with the black women. Like, that wasn't even the conversation with Happy they performed with Meg. Yes, yes. It was like a fresh air, and I, I actually like, yes, I enjoy it myself. Yes. Have you ever noticed how Jamie has always been super close to boy groups and not many ships happen there? Probably because she didn't fit the ideal. Exactly, exactly, Joy Priestess. Because it's as if they didn't see her as a threat. This is why they do have, this is why the person that actually talked about projection, they actually they were right about that, because you know actually idols can hang out with other idols of the opposite sex at, until, or they can actually like interact or have a healthy friendship, as long as they don't consider that idol as attractive, or as desirable, as like there's like that. They do have their standards, they know it, but I think that this is why it's projection, because we should have to go deeper into themselves to see what would trigger them to be like, oh, if he is collaborating with that specific female, I would feel threatened, and I wouldn't be fine with it. But you're right about Jamie. You're right about Jamie. There's something I know that I noticed that Jamie also has a great character, her great personality. But there's something like probably them thinking that, because I don't know, remember that she used to, because of her weight, maybe, people in the past were like, oh, she is, like she's different somehow. So they weren't threatened by her. So yes, Jamie being friends with a lot of male idols is like, it's like having like that friend, that someone that somehow they put like in a friend zone, so somehow she's safe. She's not going to make any of them fall in love with her. And you don't know. Maybe she did and we don't know about it. Which is funny, fans can accept BTS being around female energy. I'm sorry. I thought it was because she was an MC. Let's talk about and even more curse ships. BTS, Blackpink, this is curse ship. You know, I think that yeah, she excused the energy of one of the guys. Exactly. I feel like she were to get around them now, it would be, yes, exactly, Joy. You know that she has changed totally her appearance. She looks really different to me, like the way she used to be. And actually, like I've been following her career. I love her. I love her voice, everything. But she has changed physically a lot. She is, yeah, she went through some kind of glow up. And I don't know, yes, maybe now if she would be like taking a picture with some idol, maybe yes, the female watchers will be like, mm, like, oh, you know. But about Blackpink and BTS, I read for them, and I actually do believe, like until this day, I have this feeling that they could have been potentially friends in the past. At least that's what I got from the cards. That there was that in the past there was like a connection. I'm not saying with all the members nor all the girls, just a few of them. Just a few of them. But there was this sort of camaraderie. Like probably when I say friendship, I'm not saying like long time friends because sometimes people do take it to the extremes. I think that what I meant is this sort of like, oh, if I see you, I'm going to say hi to you, or if we meet somewhere, I'm going to really pay attention to you. Like I'm not indifferent to your presence. I actually like you, and I think that that's actually very. It's not something that Blackpink like. There's something about the girls' energies that I honestly think that they don't like they are not attracted to the K-pop idol pretty boy, just like everyone thinks that, oh, because oh, Lisa should go out with this idol, and Jisoo or the other should. I think that they have more eccentric taste, and I think that in the case of BTS, they did have a sort of admiration, and it was mutual. And it was also like, when you genuinely like someone, like you're like, oh, hello, like, yes, not friends, but I really like I know of your existence, like, I like what you do. Oh, I don't know, maybe one of the guys were a fan of Blackpink, but nothing romantic, nothing romantic. But I think that something happened that had to be interrupted. Probably if there was some connection or some form of friendship and communication, that stopped in a moment, from both sides. from both sides. It was interrupted. So, it's complex for BTS and Blackpink to be like, it's complex to be associated with anyone, actually. I think that these two groups are safer, especially because of their image and their popularity. They are safer when they are not like associated with others, when they try to maintain themselves from, you know, like, yes, like it's just work, if I see you, I say hi to you, but that's it. But definitely there was a sense of them liking each other, like some of the members, not all of them. Have you seen the ship photo of Blackpink and BTS? Crazy. I think they were friends, or maybe Tuesday and I think there was like a sort of like interaction in there because they seemed very comfortable. Like there was something about their body language. Jenny like idols. That's what I've been saying. I don't think they're interested in them. It's just that I think that probably, I always think about this in this perspective. It's as if, I don't know, it had happened to me, that I used to work with very handsome and popular guys at my job, and they used to have a lot of like followers and stuff. But for me, seeing them in at work in a very routinary situation, for me they weren't that big of a deal, actually. So definitely I sense that for Blackpink, at least for Blackpink, I don't remember much about the other girl groups, but there's a sense of them actually being over, like the K-pop idols. Them being like, okay, like, can we move on? Like, like probably they are not interested. They just want to go home and do their thing. Um, probably I don't know. I think that their taste, their romantic taste, maybe it has to do with being like more expansive or dating people that are older or people that are more experienced, people that are not from that entertainment business, or maybe they have boyfriend, or maybe they have a partner already. So this is why, but I always, when I read for them, I always feel like their energy is elsewhere from the K-pop idols, because of course that these girls are gorgeous, so they do have a lot of like suitors, a lot of actually very famous K-pop idols wanting to get their number and stuff, but I think that they are like a bit like, like, and it's not about playing hard to get, actually. It's more about them maybe not being interested in those kinds of. Do you guys have any ships that you feel just need to die out already? Like you're just tired of hearing about it? Um, yeah, probably yes. Teku, I don't know. I love those two. I just know that this the relationship has changed somehow. Maybe possibly Jikook. I seen a lot of Jikook supporters, a lot of Jikook, even on Twitter. Like I never go to Twitter, but whenever I decide to go to check out, they're always trending. Jikook is trending. I mean, Jimin and Jungkook shipping is trending. So I think that people are obsessed with Jimin and Jungkook. Well, I mean, Jenny became a total LA socialite, even bought a home. Please cook. They truly don't care about the K-pop. Yes, they are like, and I'm sorry, but they are like in another like. They truly don't care about the K-pop scene at this point. I look if Blackpink were fans of EXO. There's a lot of admiration of. Oh yeah, Jimin and JK. Yes, Jimin and JK. Exactly. I like Jikook friendship wise. Wonsan. Wonsan, but because of the fans and not the boys themselves. Jikook Hemo is like every day. Wonsan. Um, it's just that I think that any shipping that has Jimin on it is going to be successful because Jimin is very clingy. Jimin is very affectionate. Jimin is a Libra, so he tends to gravitate towards someone. So you know, and people just are there to see it. I think that that ship is successful because Jimin is part of it. Because I don't think that that JK actually is JK. It's a bit like distant when it comes to showing affection. Like yes, he is a sweet guy. He's very sweet, but he's also a moon in Leo. So he's always like, you know, like he somehow like he's the king of getting attention. So he likes to play hard to get. Like oh you want me? No no no. So I think that JK is always the one that is chased by the others to hold him, to guide him somewhere. He is that hard to get. Um, and Jimin just loves. He's insistent, so he loves to. He doesn't mind to be like to be more, even more affectionate. So the fans do get content, do get like like one song has to die out for the fans because they're all too real to be fake. One song has to die out for the fans because that's all too real to be fake. One song. I feel like what I feel. I feel like I since Jungkook responds well to Jimin that he must really enjoy being friends with him. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Probably. Just that JK is. It's just that JK is really funny. Also, JK it's really funny. He's um, he loves the attention. He loves the attention. At first, he's like oh, I don't want to, but then he loves the attention eventually. Yeah, and Jimin always gets what he wants also at the same time. So um, yeah, there's something in there. But yes, no, I don't think to the point of being romantic, but they have a lot of things in common probably. Affection, yes, Jikook, Bimin, but also Junmin is one of the top ships. Junmin. Yes, everyone were Jiminins, of course, which used to be surprising to me because Jimin doesn't like affection, and there's barely moments of them. Yes, Mini Money is cute too. I love them. I think I love. Yes, it's actually, it's Jimin's ships. Is Jimin's ships the one that are the most famous because he does give you content. Because yes, and he is litigious. He is a Libra, so he's great. He's great. And and also about Wonsang. About Wonsang, I think that is the same because Wonjun actually he does have a rising in Libra, and I believe that maybe I believe that his Venus is also in Libra, so he also is like very affectionate and very like and probably Sun is like yeah, like yes, I get you. Like I hold you, and I'm here for you because I'm a Cancer Sun. But I'm a moon in Gemini at the same time, so I need my freedom, I need my time. Like, yes, we can have fun, like, but yeah, definitely Wonsang. I noticed that there's a lot of content about Wonsang, and I think that you know I just don't see it, but okay. I find it interesting how easy it is to notice friendships between idols when they change. Sometimes it's sad when friendships window, and sometimes it's healthy. Mm. Yeah, that's something that I actually like. For a while, it was like actually very weird for me to. I actually think I read for them. It was this group of main dancers. I guess they all had in common that it was that group of friends, supposedly, that it's Jimin, Taemin, Kai, um, and other people also. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting the name. It's just that I don't remember right now. I think that it's called the Padding Squad, and I think I read for them. But somehow, I don't know. I just, maybe because I don't know, there's not much like public, at least I didn't see it, like public interactions. Yes, unless I think that the most interaction that I seen was in one of our award shows between Taemin, Kai, and Jimin. But that's something that I always think, like, friend. It's a very profound word. Friend. And friend, to build a friendship and for that friendship to stand the test of time, there has to be a lot of effort, a lot of intention, a lot of willpower. Like, yes, I know we are busy. Yes, I know we have a lot of complex agendas, but let's meet, let's see each other. Like, not for the award shows or the red carpet or the interview or the variety show, but for the real moments, and um, actually that's something that I actually learned to pay more attention. For example, in the case of Utah, of NCT Utah, where he talks about these Japanese friends that are idols, that he always showing, like, oh yes, I went on this, I went bowling with this idol, I went to see these idols work, I went to their house, I met their family, we hang out, we went out to have dinner a couple of times, like not just one for the pictures, but always, that they always tag each other in on their stories, on their Instagrams, or on their individual accounts. That's, for me, the proof that there's interaction. It's not just about putting people on a Kakao Talk chat. It's also about sharing very routinary moments, like, oh, like, like, I think that for me is that's the way I see it. I measure the level of friendship or connection with how they interact, if they stay connected, if they talk about each other, if they mention each other, and not just for clouds, not just because, oh, oh, I'm dancing to your new song. No, that's marketing, guys. For me to appear on your TikTok dancing to your song is marketing. It's like, oh yes, I'm going to dance to your song and you're going to dance to mine, and we're going to do publicity with each other. Mm-hmm. It's giving fetish. Oh yeah, that group of idols. The group of idols. Yeah, padding squad also. Tevin tried his best to be friend and help everyone, but yeah, Kai is his closest friends, though for sure. I seen a vacation of photos of the group. You remind me of YB friendship. How at time sometimes, how at times something doesn't feel right. Mainly how Lucas and friendship changed the mind. Yes, yes, Samara. I'm glad that you said it because I feel the same. That TikTok is annoying. I know what they're trying to do. I know. I definitely know. But the other day I was watching someone make like a TikTok about their favorites, like having like yes, a release of a new song and being like, oh, look how many celebrities they got to do their TikTok challenge with their new song. And I'm like, it's a bit like, so what? Like, I don't know, maybe TikTok, I don't know, it's going to do like popularity awards, like how many times yours. I think that Jessie probably has the the winning so far because her song is being played in every TikTok. And I love her song actually. But that like that excess of publicity, I'm like, I want you to do a funny TikTok. I don't want you to like promote your song. Like, yes, we know your song is out, but come on, let's stop it. Yes. Yes. Yeah. But yes, guys. Um, I don't know. I think that when the days that the shippings will stop to happen is when actually people can start experiencing relationships themselves. When you start like having your own relationship and you are able to focus on the here and the now and how complex is to be in a dynamic like that. That it's not just, oh, we looked at each other and we knew that we were soulmates. Or we spend time together, so we must be soulmates. No, sometimes relationships are hard, they take a lot of effort, and they are not fairy tales. Not at all. They are not fairy tales. It's not glamorous. Of course that you have, the magical moment when you have the lack of that the person that you likes you back. But there's a lot of complexity in being in a relationship or being in a connection. Even in friendships, sometimes friendships that you think that would last forever, they just disappear, or you just lose contact with them. You are not the same. You grew up, you move out, I don't know, something happened in your life that you no longer resonate with that person anymore. So or you have new friends, that also can happen. So for some reason, I'm too low-key shippings that barely has moments more than the ones that has. I'm sorry. I'm like yawning. I love them all though. There's a video of young Shani on a variety show, and Taemin talks about losing touch with friends to be an idol. Friendship is French. Yes. I will take that hope, and I will take also Rims. Friendship is precious. and friendship is fragile. Those two things are important to remember, that they are precious, but they're also fragile. That's why I always tell people you have to invest in your relationships. You have to put efforts in your bonds because you are not just someone's friend because you are pretty and popular or because you are smiley and you are pleasant. No. Friendships, relationships, sometimes they demand a lot of us. They demand time also. Time that you put the willpower to meet, to see each other. And sometimes people do not realize that these guys are always working. You know, all the idols, the females, the males, they're always working. And yes, maybe that's the reason why in a certain group there are maybe two of them that act as if they were husband and wife because somehow they feel lonely. So, you know, they could be really intimate friends. You know, they could have this intimate connection because actually we all have this need to feel something, you know, to feel this sort of support. So if you are spending time with someone that you feel that cares about you or that understands you, you're going to hold on to that person. You know, you're going to be affectionate. You're going to want to be with that person all the time. You know, oh, okay, let's go do a V Live together. Let's go have a meal together. Let's go get a tattoo together. I don't know, just like what we do when I was younger and I had different best friends back then. I thought that our relationship was going to be forever, and actually, no. Time passed by. We lost touch, and I met other people, and I because you learn from different people. You know, you learn maybe you know the person that was your friend 15 years ago. It was for that version of you 15 years ago. But now, you know, and that's how you know that the friendship is bulletproof, basically. That's when you know that's a friendship or a friend that you should keep. When time passed by, when you know you have children, they have their own, or you don't have children but they do, and you got married and they got divorced, or you are single and they are, I don't know, on their third marriage, and you still call each other friends. You know, because sometimes that happens. You know, but like I always tell you, you have to, even though even with a message, with a text, you have to show that you care. You have to put the effort. You have to answer the calls. You have to answer the text. uh, you have to put willpower, not just like, oh, you're my friend, so I'm going to put that label on you, friend. Oh, but when I am my lowest or when I'm having a hard time, you're nowhere to be found. Or I'm having a really hard time and you are not here. Like, you don't even know what I'm going through. You don't know me. You you don't listen to me. You know, so and that's something that actually a lot of people learn about their friendships. When you are at your lowest point, you know, who is by your side? You know, who is supporting you? Who is there for you? You know, that's why it's easy to call themselves friends when you are on the spotlight, when you are receiving an award, when you are winning a medal, when all the lights are on you, when you are when you are making a lot of money, when you are buying people expensive gifts and giving them invitations to your show. You will see a lot of friends in there. A lot of people will attend to hang out with you, to be seen with you. But what happens when suddenly an idol has a scandal? Or not just an idol, a celebrity in general. Where are their friends? Somehow everyone vanishes. Everyone is like, oh, I don't know that person. Like, like, and that's why I always tell people, like, yes. That's why I always tell people that for idols actually to go through these instances of being accused of something and and seeing their relationships being destroyed or people just disappearing of their lives because they are in hiatus or because they are going through a rough time, because they are dealing with health issues, something like that. We just have to pray that they are surrounded by the right people, not by the other popular idols, because sometimes this is what we were mentioning about ships. It's not about like, oh, I like that my favorite bias has a lot of friends. No, it's about him actually being friends with who I want him to be. So I try to force that situation, like, oh, and what person would look good next to him. Oh, they are like, like trying to find like coincidences, like, or like, oh, you are a main dancer, or you have to know the other main dancer. Oh, you should form a group of main dancers. And it's like, why restrict their possibility? They can be friends with whoever they want to. It's not necessary that yes, you can exchange ideas, and but probably, you don't want to spend your free time talking to someone about choreographies. Maybe you just want to talk about life, or maybe you just want to spend time with someone that it's not part of the industry. That's why what I tell the other day, like, stop thinking that your idols are these sort of orphans, that they only have each other, and that they all live in a small house happily ever after, looking out for each other, because they have families of their own. They have friends. They have, thankfully, I would want to think that there's people that care about them, not just the members, because that's also something that I think that it's a bit worrying, about someone being like, oh, because this member is the mother of the group, or that member is the father of the group. Like, put all that responsibility and label on someone that is just as young and inexperienced as the others, and probably they have their insecurities of their own. They don't have everything figured out, even, you know. So, like, oh, because this member takes care of all of them, and it's like, I hope not. There's something inside me that I'm like, I hope that he doesn't have to take care of these other young adults, because like, these people need support, but real support, not just to put it on a certain member, like, oh, because you're the leader, you're supposed to be like this immaculated, like, like, figure of authority. And like, no, he's just as normal as the rest of the members. He just have another extra layer or extra label that is that he's the leader. He or she is the leader, but they can make mistakes as well. They can be lazy. There's like this, like, they definitely have people around them. They have their families, they have their friends, they have the staff. Maybe they have friends that are part of the staff. Maybe they are best friends with the manager. There are a lot of things, a lot of people with them. Like I think that sometimes people just see their favorites, and they don't see that there are a lot of people. Um, but um, what if they, what if they are introverts? Um, well, if you are introvert, then you don't have friends in the group, and you just like go to practice and do what you have to do, and then you go back to your room. There are idols that are like that, actually. I have seen it. Some of them are my biases, even, and I have noticed that how they need their how they participate in a lot of activities and they do what they have to do, but eventually they want to be left alone. Like they really need to recharge batteries and go to their room and not be disturbed and just be left alone. They want to watch a movie. They don't want to eat with the rest. They want to eat in their bed with their laptop, with listening to their music or working on their music. Or there are idols that are like that. That they just Yoongi is one of them. Yoongi is an introvert. And yes, he is with the group when he has to be, but when he has something to do, but then you would always find him doing something elsewhere. And that doesn't mean that he doesn't like the members. It's just that he needs to recover from being all the time with that people. Even if they're introverts, they never go away. They're always there for you. Oh, you mean when your friends are introvert? Ah, it's like idols are one-dimensional. Exactly. Yes, being introvert just make it picky. Exactly, picky. Yes, introverts doesn't mean that you don't have a friend. No, you just yes, and you are picky. Exactly, you are picky. You probably don't have a lot of friends. You have one and two maybe later in life when you have like one friend and then you have like a second one that you wouldn't call a friend, but it's someone that you don't mind spending time with. Actually, a lot of introverts do marry or do have romantic relationships with their only friend, like in the sense of yeah, as if it was like, um, like, as if they are like, okay, my partner is my best friend, so and they are like, because I had conversations with people like that and they were like, I don't know why I don't have, like, I'm always with my partner, like, but if I don't talk to him, like, I don't know who I can trust, like, I don't have other friends. So sometimes I do wonder, like, because they don't want to have other friends, but they sometimes think that there's something wrong with them because they do not have a lot of friends, so, or maybe their own partner or husband or wife is like, oh, maybe you should like have, make make friends or something like that, like it would be nice, like I'm always going to be here, but it would be nice maybe if you wanted, I don't know, to have other friends. And they're like, no, with you I'm fine. They are like, no, I tried, like I went in the real world and I met people and I didn't like them. So yes, my husband, my wife, or my partner is my friend, is my best friend, and it's fine, it's everything that I need. I know it doesn't mean they don't have friends. I meant it's like they have friends, but how would they keep them as friends? Because they would prefer their alone time. Yes, but I think that, you know, Me as I'm an introvert, and actually, like for example, if I don't want, because I value my alone time, and I can't go to see them, or I feel like I don't have the energies to drive to another town to go see them, I always like send a text, always call them, always keep connected somehow, always like, how's your day? Just ask, keep the conversation, I send you a text, how are you? How was your day? How are the kids? How is your husband? I always try to keep the communication. Of course, that always keeping in mind that I'm an introvert, so I'm not going to be like all day texting you. Probably I will send you like, oh, have a great day, or if I see that you post something on the social media, I try to always give it a like, to put hearts and stuff like that. So you know that I'm thinking about you. That even though if I'm not present, but I love what you do, and I'm trying to be there, even if it is, I don't know, in a distance. But that's what I, at least that's how I had shown it. And I also had this with my best friend when she used to live very far away from me. And yes, we wouldn't be talking like all day every day, but when we talked with each other, it seemed like, like it was just yesterday that we met, or that we saw each other. We know each other. There's a sense of standing the test of time. There's a sense of, no matter, it doesn't matter how or when we meet, but when we do meet, there's a sense of reciprocity, like you are happy to read me and I'm happy to read you. And there's a sense of like, oh, here you are still my person, and I don't know, it's cute, I think that. But maybe because we are both introverts, so we get each other, like we get that a message, or or like any kind of communication is a way of I'm reaching out to you, like I'm trying to connect with you, so you don't forget that I'm part of your life. Soyeon of J Idols also described as a lone wolf. Yeah. The idols keep their friends because they still run into each other at work. Mm. Most idols do YouTube, so I see them collab together. Yes, you can still maintain friends. Yes. But this why I think that for us introvert, it's very necessary to somehow know what type of friend you are, and probably what type of friend you connect with, because um there are some friends that they just need your physical presence, or they invite you all the time to different events, and they somehow expect you to be there, as if you were a kind of like, I had a friend that was like that she would get really upset if we didn't celebrate her enough, or if we didn't go to the restaurant that she wanted, because actually her intention was to gather a certain group of females, so she could like get these pictures to post on her account, to look as if she was like, oh, look how many friends I have, or look at these people that came to see me, or look who these people I'm hanging out with, like a sort of like follower, like more, not so much like quality, more about quantity, like, oh, I have 6 friends, I have 6 girlfriends, so I'm popular, like, and it was always about her. I always noticed that it was always about her, as if she was the protagonist and we were like, the second lead, or we were like the prod in the background, and it was all about her. So eventually I started talking to her because I was really annoyed. She would always throw a tantrum. Like, for example, like I know that there are people that for very important uh, celebrations you definitely have to attend, like a wedding, like, uh, but I just, if you want me to be your friend so you can brag about how many friends you have on social media, I am not going to be there to provide that for you. I think that it's very disrespectful. I know that there are a lot of people that just go there so they can belong to something. I think that some people do love to be followers. They just feel content to be considered, to be like, oh, you invited me, so I'm special because you invited me. And I'm like, no. If I'm just going to be the cheerleader of your accomplishments or just for you so you can show up a certain lifestyle that you do not have, I prefer to stay at home. Like I am that kind of person. Like, uh, when when I meet my friends, I sometimes we take pictures, but most of the time we forget to take pictures because we have so much fun, or we have these long conversations that we forget to, we always regret it at the end because we're like, oh, we didn't take a selfie, or we didn't take a picture about our reunion. But it's just that we had so much fun that, to be with the cell phone, it's a bit distracting. But well, it's an introvert kind of thing. We are like that. The things we do for the people that we love are not for the cameras, or are not for us to do like a huge post about it. I can be friends with people like that. Yeah. Main character syndrome. Yes. I always said I friendships where people have to document every single thing they do together. Yes. Hi, Lilian. Yes, me too. I'm like, what are you trying to prove here? Like, I understand you want people to know that you have friends, but um, what I notice about this kind is that there's always this queen bee, and just like Mean Girls, but with a lot of friends. There's this one person that she is like the one that decides how everything is going to be. Like, oh, I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to order this, I paid for this, I did the reservations here. Yes, they are always like, they are the kind of person that as long as they get a good picture of themselves, they don't care how if the picture is favorable for you. They generally they choose the pictures that are the most like flattering for them, and they have to approve the pictures. They are like, oh no, let's not post this one because I don't like the way I look, or I don't like the way I came out. And of course that you are like, this is why I think that these sort of people, they are used to having people saying yes to them, because somehow if you are maybe a bit humble and you don't like to your pictures to be taken over and over, you're going to be like, okay, like, yeah, like, I don't care, like, you can post any picture that you want, like whatever you choose is fine. So somehow you do fit into that monster, that little monster that, it's always about the way she wants things. So she tends to, she or he, this I'm talking as for a she because I had female friends that were like this. There's always like, if they don't approve or something, or if they're not having fun in a certain place, for example, like a bar, a club, they will want to leave, and you have to follow them. You have to stop whatever you're doing. You have to, if you are having fun, I'm sorry, you have to leave, because they somehow command their whole groupies. I call them groupies, because I think that they do not have friends. These are not their friends. These are followers. This is like, okay, like let's grab everything and go, because I don't like this place, I don't like this. So they just like, it's all about them. It's all about them. And it's not, I don't know, there are people that, like I mentioned, there are people that love to be part of that because somehow they feel like they belong somewhere. But for me, it's nerve wracking. Like, I cannot stand these people. Yeah. To say, wait, I'm the mean girls. Yes. Those people feel like energy vampires. Exactly. Because you are always like, yes, my old friends would put me on camera without me knowing. I hated that. Oh, yes. And they also tagged you in these pictures that I had a colleague that was like that, and there was a moment where I had to change the setup of my privacy settings, because this person would tag me, like for example, we were, I don't know, on a break, like eating, and she would just like, selfie everywhere, and probably we were like, I don't know, eating our meal, and we were like, like when you're having your meal, you're probably like chewing, and you're, I don't know, drinking water, and she would just like pose, and she would include us in this very uncomfortable picture, sort of selfie with us in the background, and she wouldn't even like let us know that that was going on. And she would tag you. She would tag you. So I had to like, like change my privacy settings because of her, because she was very like, she didn't know boundaries. I think that these people are like that. This is why when you say energetic vampires, yes, they are like this. It's draining to be around them. It's draining to be around them because they always want to be the center of attention. It's always about them. So and like I always say, when we're talking about certain like behaviors, there are some people that don't have the level of awareness to stop being what they are. So if like, as if we're just like we were mentioning about some toxic traits in fandoms, that's why I always tell you that there's no level of awareness. So, and there are a lot of people, like there are a lot of people. So, sometimes when things get toxic, it's better to just, like I always say, remove yourself from the situation, because you are not going to change them. Your opinion means nothing to them. It's about them and what they want to communicate or what they want to express. So don't like, just like, don't lose your energy and time on wanting to change things that are there to stay. Are there to stay because somehow they need it. It's like a fuel. Toxicity is a sort of fuel, so they need it. They need it. So if you don't agree with any kind of trait about them, just don't, like, just like, they go that way, you go the other way, just in case, because there's no reasoning with them. There's no like, oh, like maybe if you tell me, and also whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you happy. But yes, I remember now, there was someone, I think that it was Samara, that you were the one that were mentioning that we should also talk about when people ship, when people um, get angry when their ship is not popular, when they get really angry because of that. There's also that they get angry when you are like, oh, Yeah, I don't think, that's, that they don't have many moments, for example, and they are like, no, but, that's level of toxicity right there. Okay, guys, I'm going to pull some cards. Um, I didn't bring my paper with me, so if you have questions, you're going to have to, like, I'm going to take five only today because I'm really tired. Um, but, you know, and I'm also going to let you know if I probably, you know what, I think that I will do the Sunday live. I will try to do it on Saturday because I work on Sunday. So I will not be able to do the live. So I will do it on Saturday, 10 a.m. my time. Since we did how does Hive use SM, let's do how SM views Hive. Okay, I'm going to pull a card for that. Yes, I have to start for NCT first. NCT 1 to 7. Probably tomorrow night I will record this. Okay, how does SM view hives? Hive, okay. Knight of Pentacles. This is how SM views Hive. And it's interesting, but yes, Saturday. Instead of Sunday, Saturday. Because on Sunday I work. um, Remember when I pulled the card of how does Hive feels about SM or views SM, and they got the Knight, yes, the Knight of Cups. Well, SM got the Knight of Pentacles. So definitely there's like admiration, of course, but it's not emotional. Like I mentioned, there's something about, a lot of emotions when it came from Kype's perspective. When it comes to SM perspective, it's more about money. It's actually this sense of like, okay, like I wouldn't mind to collaborate with you. Like there's this sense of like, okay, you want to buy me flowers, you want to conquer me, like I want to get some money out of you. There's like a very business like mentality here. Probably there's not feelings. There's not from the perspective of SM. There's not admiration. There's not, no. It's more about like, oh, you got money, so like I am observing you. Like, okay, like I'm waiting for you, so I know that you have money. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting. But the Knight of Pentacles, it's, yes, it's on the move. The Knight, it's on the move. But the Pentacles, it's also about a slow movement. They eventually get there, but it's a sort of resistance. Like this is what I was mentioning about SM being acquired by some other companies. There's this sense of like, oh yes, I want to sell, but I'm not sure yet. Like, oh yes, I know you have an offer and I know that I somehow have to make a decision, but I'm going to take my time. So there's this sense of like, like my approach is going to be very slow. It's going to be steady. You can trust me. It's not that they are not going to disappear, but they are, they are very slow. I think there's something about SM that probably people that are losing their patience because they are not getting to any agreement, they are very stubborn. So probably they will keep having people on their toes, about whether they're going to sell or not, because I don't know who runs SM. I know that there's this guy, but the people that are there, they are very stubborn, in the sense that, and they are really good with numbers. So there's something about that they want a certain number. So somehow they are waiting for that number. They are not going to sell for less. They are waiting for the exact amount. Um, but they are open to communications. They are meeting each other. SM and Hive are meeting each other, like actively. This is not like there's a connection here. Like I said, if you haven't watched my last part of my last live, where I pulled a card about how the Hive felt about SM, and they got the Knight of Cups. That I was like, there's like an emotional connection here. There's like this sense of, oh, like I also an invitation. So somehow, like there's a correspondency here. So I don't know who's making the invitation to who, because actually SM also has a very willingly posture. Like, who is going to buy who? Because here it seems like also SM has a sort of business proposal for Hive. So I don't know, guys. Hmm. They are moving towards each other. This is why they got the knights, both of them. It's just that I think, like I mentioned last week, Hive's style of approach is gentle, is more gentle, is more passive. It's manipulative, yes, but it's all about the good manners, talking nicely, being diplomat, being sweet, being emotional, like like observing you. What do you want? Like creating this sort of connection between you and I. When in the case of SM, it's more about show me the money. It's more about what you got. Show me your pentacles, and I show you mine. So, but there's something there. There's something there. High partner with YG for their education component. So maybe they want to partner with the SEM for the. There's yes, like there's a sense of like I'm not sure it's about buying. I'm not sure that if it's about buying, like like what we were talking about the accusation. I don't think it's about that, but I think that definitely there's something in the making. There's a collaboration. There's something that they are going to coincide somehow. It's like, oh, I'm coming here to do this sort of, you know, business deal, and somehow you come here and we meet here and we are here for the same thing. So we have to work together. Because each horses of the night, they are coming, they are like on the way, and they meet. They are like, oh, you're here and I'm here and we're here for the same thing. So something like that. Or maybe they are more, like I mentioned when I did the night of cups. There's an emotional connection there, guys. I don't know if they're someone's brother, someone's wife, someone's child is involved, but they have like people in common. Like there's like a connection in there. There's like they are no strangers to each other. Um, there's like, oh, like, oh, you know me, I know you, the familiarity. No, it's okay, Rim. We get you. We get you. We get you. But I think that there's, because there's a lot of cards here. And honestly, if there was animosity or if there was hate or if this was, there's a lot of cards in here that could actually represent a sort of like feeling or a thought or an idea, a perception of rivalry or of conflict. And there's not conflict. Actually, the only conflict that SM has is with the people that are waiting for them to make a decision to who they're going to sell it with. See, some people that I don't think that Hype is including those people, the people that wanted to buy SM, they are getting really agitated. They are losing their patience. They're probably going to back down. They're going to be like, okay, you can keep your company. Like, there's like a lot of discontent. There's like, you don't want to. That's why I think that SM is really, like, I don't know if they're trying to buy time, something like that, but they are really slow on the making of the decision. And probably people are like, maybe they don't want to sell. Yeah, maybe, probably, and they are just making excuses. Okay, what was the other question? Please, guys, don't move this so much so I can read the next question. Chen and his career. Hi, Karma. Okay, let's pull a card for Chen and his career. The sun. So definitely, Chen is going through a very prosperous moment. Actually, it's like he's in a very good mood. Probably he feels like he's seeing the sun, literally. Like, I don't know what, his enlistment, how the situation was, but probably he did feel a bit like moody, emotional, also feeling as if every day was cloudy or every day was cold or every day had this sort of sentiment of nostalgia and being sad and being a bit like, like not so happy. So now finally he's like connecting with happiness, with joy, with his inner self. Like he's starting to smile again. He's really happy. And this also is going to affect his creativity. So probably you will hear something from Chen and his career. Probably he's going to create something if he's not already. He is in the mood for creation. The sun is the card of creation. So he should definitely start working on it if he hasn't already. But the sun is going to come out for Chen. So, for all the haters and the people that actually, like, that they hate on Chen, I think that they are wasting their time, because Chen is actually like going through a very like revitalizing kind of way. He's nurturing himself with a lot of positivity. Actually, this experience, I think, in the military actually made him like more aware of how lucky he is, or how much he has available, and how his life is actually very abundant. Probably in the past he was a bit like negative, or a bit like sensitive about, he was a bit upset with himself, his circumstances, with everything that happened. So he was, before entering, I think, in the military, he was a bit like angry with himself, and probably a bit pessimistic. But now, here with the son, he's slowly like this child, he's like opening himself to the possibilities. He's like a brand new person. JB. Oh, okay. Oh, JB. Um, JB is in the hermit mode, and this is, if he wasn't a Capricorn, this is the Virgo card actually. Um, I think that this is JB being JB. There's something very hermetic about JB, and I think that I'm not a Nagase, but I think that I can read body language. So there's something about JB, like he definitely pours his body, his soul into everything that he creates. But he's also, like we were talking about introverts, a while ago. There's something about him like always like having to hide in the shadows somehow, so probably he goes out, he does his work, he's going to do his comeback or his production and everything that he has to do professionally, but eventually he's also going to go through a moment of hiding, like going inwards, like taking a time off, like, not being so much present on camera. Like, and probably if he's on camera, or if he shoots some kind of vlog about his life, it's going to be very personal, and it's also going to have this, that actually I think that it's a sort of aesthetic that JB uses a lot, that is this sort of like black and white, atmosphere. Um, he's definitely like learning a lot about himself in these days. He's reflecting a lot. It seems like everything that happens to him somehow like helps him to see a lot of things about himself that he didn't see before. So he's doing a lot of self reflection. He's also taking responsibility for a lot of things. I think that probably in the past he was like, oh no, this happened because this person, and that event, that experience made me do this, or made me react like this. And actually the hermit is more about like going inwards and looking and taking responsibility of your own history. Like, it's not about the others doing things on purpose to you, or the universe conspiring against you so you don't get what you want. It's more about, like, and what have you done for others? There's something about JB that somehow he's a bit inflexible. It seems like sometimes it's hard for him to somehow realize that maybe he has to be a bit more. This is how people see him. This is how people see him, as the hermit, as someone, as that is hermetic, someone that, yes, is an old soul, is someone that is very wise, is someone that is a mystery, that is a teacher. He is a teacher. But somehow, for him to connect with his ability to teach or to be of guide to others, he also has to guide himself. This is why he needs to go through these periods of loneliness, so he can see himself, because it seems like he doesn't see himself. Like he sees his influence on others because others tell him, oh, you mean this for me, or you help me with this. But somehow he doesn't know himself that well, or he doesn't see himself as this sort of guide for others. But actually, he is. So, yes, you will probably see him a bit more of introvert, but yeah. Yeah, it's like he's used to be alone, so he probably wants to be like alone. It's just that for me, probably he's also like he wants to be a better mentor. He wants to be a better, I wouldn't say leader, because it's not about leadership, the hermit. It's more about knowing yourself. You have to stop and knowing yourself. And sometimes I think that people don't realize how hard it is to know yourself or to do some inner work when you are in the industry, that actually don't let you, or they don't care who you are inside, or who your needs, emotional needs or internal needs are, as long as you are performing, singing, standing, rapping, and doing a lot of choreographies. So probably he's like connecting now with that part of himself, that he's like, oh, like I am much more, like I embracing my inner wisdom. He's like, oh, like, and probably a lot of people came out to him and actually told him how much he means to them. Or actually, like, I don't know, probably he said something to someone that actually that advice helped that person a lot. So he's like, okay, I have to, like, you know, I have to be responsible because I am a mentor, or I am in the process of becoming a mentor. So I have to work on myself because I cannot fail. I don't want to fail. I want to be a good mentor. I want to be wiser. So it's great what he's doing, actually. It's great. It's just that it's lonely. Yes, it's lonely, it's personal, it's gray. Yeah, it's a mystery. Yeah. Is who is going through what? He's often. Yeah. Okay, guys, last two questions, and then I'm going to go. Um, yeah, I don't want to read for Lucas yet. Yeah, because I don't think that much has changed actually for Lucas. Um, I think that he's still like taking time for himself. I think I pulled a card for him in one of my lives. I don't, or I answered someone that asked him. But yes, I talked about Lucas' energy, and I think, Rim, that that he's not. not fighting, like he's not fighting what is happening. He's like, I wouldn't say he's comfortable in his situation, of course he's not. But I think that this is eye opening for him. This is eye opening for him. This is like, like, like he's no longer blaming himself. So I think he's okay. I don't want to touch his energy, but I think he's okay. He's using this time to get to know himself, to work on himself. And actually, I don't know if I pulled a card for him, but there was something about work. So definitely he's not like he's using the moment that he has very wisely. He's not like, like laying in a room like sleeping, like no, he's working. He's busy. He's doing something. But I think that it has to do with himself. ¿Quién es Iceland? El nuevo drama de Chaewo. Oh, yeah. Island, o Iceland. It's Island. El nuevo drama de Chaewo. Okay, Island, the new free of cups celebration. When is it going to air? When is it going to air, Crystal? Because I think that it's going to be. Look, this card is very emotional, so I'm not going to say like a success, but definitely he's going to have a lot of fun doing it. And actually, it's going to be like a great team, with great energy. They're going to have fun, they're going to celebrate. Great energy, great teamwork as well, like a sense of celebrating, celebrating a lot, and a lot of togetherness, like, oh, like we get each other in an emotional level. So probably there's something here about reunion or union. There's something here that this energy actually is very happy. So I definitely see Chai Wo, like him, like being actively involved in this and having a lot of fun with the rest of the cast. There's this sense of like, yes, we are working, but we are also having a lot of fun. So it's going to be a very exciting experience, and probably the audience is also going to love it, to be honest, because the Free of Cups, it's a very positive card. So what I'm seeing here is that probably is not a very like complex plot, that you're like, oh, no one has ever seen something like this before in the story of K-dramas. Probably it's going to be a bit like, okay, of a cliche, but there's a sense of a lot of like, they will probably get people very emotional and attached to the characters, and probably, I don't know, to actually celebrate if the main characters end up together, or if they, I don't know, save their relationship or something like that. There's a sense of, like, I'm having fun. Yes, like I'm having fun about this. And also there's a sense of they have a good cast, and probably the people that are working on that, they have great like energy, in the sense that they get together, they resolve things. I don't think there's going to be like drama, or like if they have problems with the production, they will be like, okay, let's gather force and let's make this happen. Like there's this joy to be working, this joy to be there, to be able to do what they love. So definitely great energy. Okay, guys, one last question and I'm going to go. One last question and then I'm going to go. ¿Será un exorcista? ¡Wow! ¿Y las, y las copas? ¡Wow! Oh my God. I saw a lot of cups. I don't know. How did Joo feel about doing his first? This is Jukjeom got 7 Jukjeom. I'm asking because I don't know. Maybe there's another, and I don't know. I want to watch it now, Krista. I want to watch it. I'm going to watch it. You know, Chai Wolf. But I feel that there's something about him, about Chai Wolf, that I know that that man is gorgeous. So, you know, I would go to work. I wouldn't say I would go free to work for him, but I think that it must be really nice to go on set and see that he's there. So definitely, maybe it can influence of people like celebrating, having a lot of fun while he's around. Jujum, feel about solo. Jujum. Ah, Juhyum. Ah, okay. Juhyum. Ah, so the Y is like a U. Juhyum. Sorry. Um, the victory. 6 of Wands. Victory. Victory, definitely. I didn't know either about about the solo, but it's going to be a success. It's a personal victory. It's a personal victory. It's a personal victory for him. It's a personal. Because, for him it's about, like daring to do this. So for him it's going to be a success. And he's a guy that he is very loved. This is he is very loved. He is a guy that he's really loved. So and he's also going through a good phase in his life. He's feeling like a champion. He's a guy that he's really loved. Really, I can say this, like, I don't know much, I don't know much about God 7. I know he's the Magne. I believe he's the Magne. But he definitely, like I say, like, sometimes there are some groups that, there's a bit of exaggeration about how close they are and stuff. But there's something about definitely him as a Magne being very loved and supported. It's like as if he always feels, he has like this inner trust in himself because he knows he's loved. It's like there's a sense of I am a winner because I have these people that believe in me. So like I mentioned, maybe for the rankings of the world and the whole association of different toxic fandoms, maybe what he does is not going to be, a worldwide sensation, but for him and what he considers a success is going to be. Because he's surrounded and supported by the right people. And this is very important, actually, to know and to be able to differentiate who is your people. And he definitely knows it. So it's going to be great. He's going to go fearless to the battle because he's not going to be afraid. He's not going to be afraid. So someone actually, Rim, I think that you were like, oh, we didn't read anything for female energy about Wendy, Red Velvet Wendy. I swear, I got even emotional myself. I got a bit like when I was talking, I got a bit overwhelmed with feelings. I don't know why. I swear, I don't know why, guys, but I got a bit emotional as well. when I know that this card is victory, you know, I would just be like, oh, victory. But I felt the need to also expand the interpretation and being like, this is a bigger victory. This is not like something that you can count only with numbers. This is bigger. This is for him is more important. Okay, the last card for Red Velvet Wendy. Six of Cups. So for Wendy, there's this sense of that she probably feels a bit nostalgic about, you know, about how things happened in the past. There's this need in her to actually connect with her past roots. You know, she's also feeling very emotional. She's a very emotional person. But she's like looking back and thinking how she wished things were like they were in the past. You know, and also I think that she's also connecting with her emotions. So maybe she could be like writing something or connecting with her with she's very intuitive also. She's very intuitive. But she's also like thinking about things decisions that she made in the past. You know, there's something like, oh, I wish I could unsee things. You know, like probably like she daydreams a lot about, oh, my life would be easier if I didn't know this, or if I was naive about certain things. You know, she somehow is like trying to connect with her own innocence of the past. You know, so probably if she writes or if she talks about something, it has to do with going back to her childhood or going back to her younger years. You know, there's something about longing the past. She is very like looking back and also being grateful because you know this card is very beautiful because actually it shows a child that is giving the cup that it has flowers, you know, and all of them have flowers, so all of them have feelings and possibilities. She's giving it to another child, so it's as if she's honoring herself by the memories. You know, it's nostalgia, yes, but it's not that sort of nostalgia or nostalgic feeling that you are like, oh, I'm feeling down, or oh, I'm feeling depressed, or oh, I wish things, you know, like you beating yourself up for things that you couldn't do. This is more about like, I want to recover my innocence. Like, I want to recover my capacity to be amazed by the small details. And probably this has to do with her emotional needs. You know, she probably is someone that had, because of the industry that she's in, she had to somehow like cover her emotional side. You know, somehow like being like, okay, I have to be productive, I have to do my best, I have to keep up, you know, and somehow she left some things pendant inside of her. You know, like there's a lot of like needs, emotional needs here. She definitely wants to connect more with her inner child and thank and like to celebrate that inner child of hers. You know, and to be like, oh, you're part of me. So, you know, she ain't ever getting back that innocence. Yes, it's just that probably there are a lot of things that she wishes, you know, like I think that probably this has to do with her trajectory as an artist, you know, and probably as I believe they are part of the third generation. So I think that this nostalgia, this nostalgic fear of, I think that a lot of third generation idols are starting to feel this. You know, like, oh, like, you know, oh, back then we used to do things like this, or back then we used to do things like that, and now it's very different. So somehow she's trying to keep up, but she feels like a stranger, you know, she feels like an outsider, you know, like, oh, like this is too modern for me, or maybe what this style is too much for me, like I am more of an old school, you know. And actually, like, I know it hasn't been a lot of years that they're around, but they had been around quite a while. There's a sense of nostalgia from what is probably is happening around her, you know. I mean, after her accident, she probably saw a really ugly side. Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. But she's, you know, she's like letting go. Sorry, guys. Um, this is beautiful. She's healing. She's definitely healing, guys. She's healing internally, not physically, because physically we know that she's okay, but she's healing internally. So yes, guys, this is all I have for today. I'm going to go. I'm sorry, I'm dying here. But well, I'll see you on Saturday.